Hi, I'm the Alchemist Astrologer, and this is your Sun, Moon, and Stars July reading for Sagittarius Sun, Sagittarius Rising, and Sagittarius Moon. So now the first row, the Sun row, is the outward appearance. It's the manifestation of a situation and how the world sees it. You have the Two of Swords. So perhaps there is a dilemma that you're facing, a difficult choice that you may be resistant to making. It could be that you're avoiding it. Maybe you don't have enough information. Maybe you're blind to the truth of something, or perhaps you're suppressing your emotions. You may be seen as someone who is uncertain or who has difficulty making decisions. Whatever this is, your determination is also a factor in the situation, and it either is an asset to you or a liability. So you're uncertain about a situation, and it could be that your emotions are off. Maybe you're overconfident about something, or you're fearful. There's a temptation to just sit and do nothing rather than make some important changes. Even though you may be receiving some kind of inner prodding, maybe you're doing what's easiest. You're following the line of least resistance. Maybe you're involved in something where, the devil, you know you need to make some change, but you're uncertain, and so at least you're on familiar territory, even though it's not solid. Now, some of you are waiting for something. Maybe you're at some kind of an impasse. There's a stalemate taking place between you and another person, or your own inner conflict. For some of you, this may center on some kind of agreement or settlement, or just staying put, waiting for the tide to turn, waiting for a situation to change course. And again, that may work for you. Playing the waiting game may work for you. But in some situations, this is just putting off the inevitable. It's challenging for you to stay patient. It's challenging for you to remain impartial. And maybe because of that, your impatience and your frustration starts to control your behavior. Maybe you act out, or your attitude causes you to say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing. And then there was something that you were hoping for, some goal or objective, and you undercut yourself. You undermine the very thing that you were hoping to save or promote. Now, it's likely that this is driven by a strong need for self-preservation, or you're trying to advance your own interest in some way. Now, in some cases, you're not even involved in the dispute. You're the instigator. You're stirring the pot between other people. So this could be a period because you can't see everything clearly, because you may not have all of the information, or you may not be in touch with your feelings. You could have some irrational fears, some anxieties that just come up when you least expect. This feeling of foreboding without really having a solid reason as to why. Now, this may be tied to an invitation. You may have to make a decision. Maybe you're conflicted about that. Maybe you want to invite somebody, or you've received an invitation. Maybe you've even received two and you're trying to pick which one. So you need to make a decision about socializing, or about a new romance, a new friend, or an opportunity. Or, you've just been sitting and you need to get out of your shell. You need to get out into the community. You need to open yourself up to invitation. Now, the moon row is the inward manifestation. It's how it makes you feel, the effect that this situation is having on you as a person. You have the Tower card. So for some of you, it's almost as if your feelings are beyond your control. This is a major card, so there's a lesson in this card for you. Something may have occurred suddenly. Maybe you feel like you want to break free, and because of that, again, Your impatience, your frustration, perhaps even anger causes you to blurt something out or say the wrong thing or act overly aggressive. Or perhaps you need to make a decision about somebody being aggressive to you, somebody challenging your viewpoint. And maybe they are a disruptive force, or maybe, there's a constant interruption. Now, for some of you, you're waiting, you're trying to make a decision, and perhaps you're gaining some psychological insight, some kind of breakthrough. Could be a revelation. Now, maybe a shocking revelation, or, some kind of awakening that you're coming to. So there's a major transformation, something that's unavoidable, something that's unsettling, perhaps shocking, traumatic. It may have to do with an accident or a belief system that's falling apart. It may have to do with, again, confrontation. It may have to do with freeing yourself in some way. But there's change here, and rapid change that you probably didn't see coming. Now, it can be positive. Maybe, there's a dilemma, a decision about an invitation. Could be a new job, could be a change of residence, could be something that is positive. Maybe you're suddenly falling in love with somebody. There's an explosion of emotion or ideas. But for others of you, again, this is disruptive. This is some kind of problem. Maybe it's a financial issue, or it's a problem with property. Maybe you're dealing with some kind of natural disaster, or a sudden attack, or a sudden health issue. So for some of you, you're having to rebuild upon something. There was a foundation that was faulty. Whether that was something literal or figurative, whatever it is, you're going to have to change some habits, some behavior that has been preventing you from making the most of yourself, or you just stay stuck. You're not moving forward. So there's something you're trying to hold on to. Maybe you're not seeing the truth of the harm that it's doing, but something you're holding on to, you feel you need, and yet you don't. And so an agent of change is arriving, namely the universe, to take it away from you. So it could be, physically, you're not taking care of yourself. You're not listening to the doctor's advice, or you're not doing something that you should. Maybe, you have a health issue that comes on suddenly. Maybe this is high blood pressure, or it could be, you're prone to a stroke, or something that spikes. Maybe this is a headache or migraines, or something that comes on suddenly. And maybe maybe it is like a headache, because your eyes are covered. Even the light is painful. Could also be, though, again, your impatience, your frustration. There's a prone to being impulsive and just blurting out something, or moving in some kind of quick direction that is harmful to you. You may have to be more flexible as far as your emotions and with your relationships. It could be that, you've been waiting for something, but the truth is you're going to have to do something on your own. You're being forced to accomplish something, maintain your own independence, and you're going to recognize how successful you are as a result of that. Now, it could be that, you feel some uncertainty about something, but maybe you're comfortable with the wait. And maybe it's easy for you to deal with any self-doubt. So you may be issuing important statements, or others may be saying some things. You may be getting some answers, and maybe they're not necessarily the answers that you were hoping for, but you do appreciate knowing what the truth is so that you can make better decisions for yourself, because you're very concerned with your security, the continuity of situations. So you're going to have to make a decision because of a dilemma to reorganize some aspect of your life that's currently not working, or some unexpected circumstances have brought about some kind of change. Now, for some of you, you're having a hard time hearing what's been told. because you keep trying to make yourself believe that something is better than it really is. You're selling yourself some kind of package. But, you may even see yourself as being victimized. But the truth is, you've made a decision, you played a role, a hand in a circumstance, and you put yourself behind the 8 ball, so to speak. And part of it comes from refusing to accept that there's something beyond your control, something that you cannot change, something that makes you your own worst enemy. And again, maybe you're seeking this freedom. You have to make a decision about whether you want to accept an invitation or whether you want to be free. So you may, both of these cards look very similar. This is breaking out of something. And maybe, you gain some insights that are exciting to you. You have some kind of breakthrough that feels exhilarating. It makes you feel like you can do anything. For some of you, you're having to break out of your routine. There's something disruptive going on, and you're having to make some changes. But it could also be that you're waiting for something. Maybe you're waiting for an invitation and you just simply need to let go and move on from a situation. Now, the star row is the way you can make this situation work for you. And you have the 9 of Wands. So you are going to have to put in a whole lot of effort. Now, maybe you're trying to protect yourself in some way. You're very determined, and you've probably been struggling with a circumstance for a long time. And you've been sitting on the fence about how to break free of what you normally have been doing. Or perhaps you're trying to protect yourself from somebody who is aggressive or confrontational. Or you may be that because you're just battle weary. So you're in survival mode. It's obvious that you've been through a lot, fought many battles, but you're still standing. You are a survivor. So maybe you're trying to protect your rights. Maybe you're trying to defend your reputation. If this is an illness, you may be struggling because your immune system is stressed or under strain. But something unexpected is occurring. And it is wearing on you physically. It's taxing, it's taking a toll on you. And maybe the toll is having to wait. You're frustrated about having to wait. So something is going on, some kind of setback, a challenge, a close call. Maybe you've, taken some hits recently. So now you're having to look at things differently, because winning the battle means taking stock of where you've been and learning those lessons, using that wisdom to propel you forward. Now, maybe in the past you would have gotten all hot and bothered, but maybe you're taking your time this time. You're taking into account the facts. You're not letting something get next to you. So you're reassessing your values, you're changing your habits, you're looking at how you got to this place and what your role is. And how you make this work for you is understanding the lesson, taking on this new outlook, this new perspective, being more practical rather than emotional will allow how you feel to work for you rather than against you. So this is about making changes you need to make, or looking at where you've been falling back into some old habits, some old routines. You need to break something up and free yourself where you've been stagnant. And then that may be difficult, especially if you've suffered a loss, or you've got a lot of emotions vested behind events. So you're going to have to rethink a decision, or rethink some things before you make some changes. Now, for some of you, this may actually ties to an inherited illness or some kind of memories. This may even be something you're struggling with from past lives. It could be that, you're determined to move forward. Maybe you're being guided by your spirit messengers. There's a sense of mourning here, though. Something is passing away. You're having to let go of something. Something has come tumbling down, but there is greater freedom as a result of that. Now, the underlying energy is this Knight of Swords. This is air energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So the Knight of Swords is rushing, and he may be very impulsive. He may be trying to come up with a quick solution. There could be issues connected to travel, communication, and this is a knight who is either working to protect you or he's pulling you into some kind of conflict. So for some of you, you're recognizing, you're struggling with something because you're not necessarily on the same page with someone else. And as a result, you could get angry, or one of you is saying some things that are kind of shocking. You may be doing some things that take you by surprise. Maybe, again, you're thinking about this invitation. Maybe you're excited. Maybe you feel like, you feel this surge of energy when you connect to this person. So for some of you, you may suddenly do something where you connect to another person. Maybe you decide, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to get engaged. I'm going to go ahead and make that proposal. I'm going to move in with somebody. I'm going to get married. Whatever it is, you're partnering up and you're doing it all of a sudden. But for others of you, this is anger, and you're tired of waiting. You're beating your head against this wall. You're trying to make something happen, and you're struggling to either start it or end it. And, in the interim, there could be arguments, disagreements, and those battles can be very ugly. Now, fortunately, this Nine of Wands is a victory card, although it's a victory card after a struggle. Now, again, this Knight of Swords may be, arguments where somebody is just really pleased that they can knock the other one down intellectually. Somebody is either your advocate or they're perhaps your enemy. Now, there's difficulty with intimacy with this card. Maybe, this is somebody who wants to examine ideas, push the limits. Maybe they're taking an unconventional path to a situation, a romance, a relationship, a project. This is somebody that may demand complete freedom for themselves, but they're very protective of their partner. They don't want their partner to have that same freedom. They're very possessive. Now, this is not a knight who's particularly manipulative or jealous, because, he's mind-oriented. He's looking at the big picture. And for some of you, this is about, this knight is very impetuous, but you're having to take something one step at a time. You cannot get ahead of yourself or plan too far ahead. So this is the knight who is rushing to take care of you, or again, rushing in opposition against you. So for some of you, this person is always right. Even though maybe they change their mind, or maybe they're very competitive or very insensitive. So you could be dealing with a situation where there's dogma, or somebody's rash or confrontational or disrespectful. This could be, though, a decision maker. Maybe you're dealing with travel, communication, planning agencies, and perhaps law enforcement. Especially if there's, maybe an accident of some sort. Now, this ties to trying to manifest something. So, communication, trying to manifest a situation and using your personal power or will. So, you may be very focused on a goal. Or, again, you may just be stuck in this let-it consciousness. You need to make some changes. You're waiting for things to fall apart before you do anything. So again, this is about some forward movement. Now, your advice card is assessing the first quarter moon. So let's see what this is all about. It's time to assess your current position. You must make sure your blind spots are revealed and that you are honest with others and yourself. Sometimes the hard decision is the best decision. You should be able to assess and move quickly based on that assessment. I am enjoying moving and choosing, moving and choosing. You have begun your journey, and now it is time to assess where you are and what to do next. You have made a decision. You have worked and walked the path for some time. And yet you understand that in every journey, it's a wise action to check the map. Sometimes we go along a pathway and we keep going even if it seems like that way is no longer the right way for us. Sometimes we feel we've gone too far to turn around, and so we settle on a journey and destination that doesn't really suit us or satisfy us. However, if we had just had some courage, we could have reassessed as we went and perhaps ended up somewhere else, somewhere better. Now is the time to look carefully at all aspects of your life, especially the areas in which you have set some intentions or goals. Ask yourself, do I still want these things? Do I still want that same end result? If the answer is no, ask yourself what you can do to maintain momentum and head towards what you now desire. Although it doesn't seem terribly glamorous, assessment has a high payoff for us if we bother to do it well. Doing it well means we really look hard at how things are going. All of us have some kind of blind spot, so it's worth exposing this by consulting a trusted friend or finding where negative repeating patterns are and looking for the cause. Shining a light on a blind spot and taking action to shift is one of life's big catalysts for change. Well, this is perfect because it says you've been on this path for a long time. There's a blind spot. Perhaps you need to break out of this rut and regain your freedom and rush towards something you actually want to manifest. All right, Sagittarius, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notify bell button, and please leave me some comments.